Some of the most beautiful cities in the world hide problems most visitors never see. From glittering skylines to charming historic streets, these places look like postcards come to life. Tourists take photos, influencers post sunsets, and travel magazines call them paradise. But beneath the beauty, something is going wrong. In one famous coastal city, thousands of residents are quietly leaving every year because life has become nearly impossible to afford. In another historic destination visited by millions of tourists, locals say their city is slowly being pushed out by the very visitors who love it. Today we're counting down 5 beautiful cities with surprisingly ugly problems. Some of them will shock you, some you might already suspect. And the number 1 city on this list might be the most dramatic example of all. Let's begin. Number 5, Honolulu, Hawaii. Few places in the world look as beautiful as Honolulu. Palm trees sway in warm ocean air. Waikiki Beach stretches out beneath towering hotels. Turquoise water glows under the Hawaiian sun, while surfers ride waves that look almost unreal. For millions of visitors each year, Honolulu feels like paradise. But for many residents, living here is becoming increasingly difficult. Honolulu's population has started to slowly decline in recent years. While tourists continue to arrive in record numbers, thousands of locals are quietly leaving the islands altogether. The main reason is simple: cost of living. Hawaii has some of the highest living costs in the entire United States. Housing prices are especially brutal. The median home price on Oahu has climbed close to $1 million in recent years. Even renting a modest apartment can cost thousands per month. For many younger residents, especially those born and raised in Hawaii, buying a home is almost impossible. This has created a growing migration trend locals call the brain drain. Many residents move to mainland states like Nevada, Arizona, or Washington in search of affordable housing and better economic opportunities. Tourism, ironically the lifeblood of Honolulu's economy, also adds pressure. Short-term vacation rentals have spread across many neighborhoods, reducing long-term housing supply. At the same time, wages in tourism-related jobs often struggle to keep up with rising costs. Another challenge is geographic isolation. Nearly everything, from food to construction materials, must be imported across thousands of miles of ocean. That drives prices even higher. One striking statistic shows just how difficult life has become. Hawaii consistently ranks among the most expensive states in America, while average wages lag behind other high-cost regions like California. Number 4, Austin, Texas. Not long ago, Austin was one of America's fastest-growing success stories. For decades, the Texas capital built a reputation as a creative hub. Live music poured out of bars on 6th Street. Technology companies moved in. Young professionals arrived from across the country looking for opportunity. Austin became known as the place where innovation met culture. The population exploded. Between 2010 and 2022, the metro area added hundreds of thousands of new residents. New apartment towers rose across the skyline, while tech giants opened massive campuses. But something changed during that rapid growth. The same boom that made Austin exciting also made it far more expensive. Housing prices surged at a staggering pace. In just a few years, median home prices nearly doubled. Rents climbed sharply as new arrivals competed for limited housing. Many longtime residents suddenly found themselves priced out of neighborhoods they had lived in for years. Traffic congestion also worsened dramatically. Austin's infrastructure was never designed for such rapid population growth. Highways clogged with commuters, while public transit struggled to keep up. Meanwhile, the city's famous culture began to feel different. Local artists, musicians, and small businesses, the people who helped create Austin's identity, found it harder to afford the city they helped build. Some moved to smaller Texas towns. Others left the state entirely. Austin is still vibrant. New businesses continue to open. Tech investment remains strong. But many locals say the city's personality is slowly changing. One longtime resident described it simply: Austin used to feel weird in a good way. Now it feels expensive in a normal way. The growth that once defined Austin's success has also created some of its biggest challenges. But the next city on our list faces a very different problem, one tied not to explosive growth, but to long-term economic decline. Number 3, New Orleans, Louisiana. Few American cities are as culturally rich as New Orleans. Jazz echoes through the French Quarter. Colorful balconies overlook narrow streets filled with history. Festivals, music, and food traditions give the city a personality unlike anywhere else in the United States. Tourists come for Mardi Gras, the architecture, and the energy of Bourbon Bourbon Street. But behind this celebration, New Orleans faces deep structural problems that have been building for decades. The city has struggled with population decline since Hurricane Katrina devastated the region in 2005. Although the city rebuilt much of its infrastructure, the population still has not fully recovered. Economic opportunity remains limited compared to many other major cities. Job growth has been uneven, and wages often lag behind the national average. Housing is another growing challenge. In recent years, rents have risen sharply, even as many residents face modest incomes. Short-term vacation rentals have spread through historic neighborhoods, reducing housing supply for locals. One shocking statistic reveals the scale of the problem. Some reports show that more than half of renters in New Orleans spend over 30% of their income on housing, a level economists consider financially stressful. Crime has also remained a serious concern in certain neighborhoods, adding another layer of difficulty for residents. What makes the situation especially striking is the contrast between New Orleans and other cities. Compare it to places like Nashville or Austin, which experienced rapid economic expansion and tech-driven growth. New Orleans, despite its cultural importance and tourism appeal, has struggled to. The city's charm remains undeniable. Visitors still fall in love with the music, the food, and the atmosphere. But many residents face a daily reality shaped by economic uncertainty, rising costs, and slow recovery from past disasters. And coming up next is a city almost everyone recognizes, one with breathtaking beauty, but a housing crisis that has become impossible to ignore. 30 to 40 words. Coming up next is a city whose skyline is instantly recognizable around the world. Millions dream of living there. But behind the postcard views, a growing affordability crisis is quietly forcing residents out. And the number one city might surprise you. Number 2, San Francisco, California. San Francisco is one of the most iconic cities on Earth. The Golden Gate Bridge cuts across the Pacific fog. Victorian houses climb steep hills overlooking the bay. Cable cars rattle up narrow streets, while tech headquarters rise in glass towers downtown. For decades, San Francisco has symbolized innovation and opportunity. The rise of Silicon Valley transformed the region into one of the world's most powerful economic centers. Tech companies created enormous wealth. Startups turned small offices into billion-dollar giants. But that success came with consequences. San Francisco now has some of the highest housing costs in the world. The median home price in the region often exceeds well over $1 million. Renting even a modest apartment can cost more than entire mortgages in other parts of the country. This has pushed many middle-class residents out of the city entirely. Teachers, service workers, and even many professionals struggle to afford living near their workplaces. Some commute hours from distant suburbs. Others leave California completely. The pandemic accelerated these shifts. Remote work allowed many tech employees to relocate to cheaper cities, reducing population growth in San Francisco for the first time in years. At the same time, other urban challenges became more visible. Downtown office vacancies increased as companies adopted remote work policies. Certain neighborhoods faced rising homelessness and public safety concerns. The contrast is striking. San Francisco remains one of the most innovative and beautiful cities in the world. Venture capital continues to flow through its tech ecosystem. Entrepreneurs still launch companies that shape global technology. Yet daily life for many residents has become increasingly difficult. One statistic captures the challenge clearly. Housing costs in San Francisco consume a massive portion of average household income, far more than in most major American cities. The city's breathtaking views and booming tech economy created enormous wealth, but they also produced one of the most extreme affordability crises in modern urban history. And the number one city on our list may be the most dramatic example of beauty colliding with economic reality. Number 1, Venice, Italy. Venice might be the most beautiful city ever built. Stone palaces rise directly from the water. Gondolas glide through narrow canals beneath centuries-old bridges. Sunlight reflects off historic buildings that look almost untouched by time. For visitors, Venice feels magical. But behind the romantic imagery, the city is facing a slow and dramatic decline. Venice once had a population of over 170,000 residents in its historic center. Today, fewer than 50,000 people remain. The main reason is tourism. Millions of visitors arrive every year, many on massive cruise ships that tower above the fragile lagoon city. Tourism brings enormous economic activity, but it has also reshaped the local housing market. Apartments that once housed residents have increasingly turned into short-term rentals for tourists. As a result, housing for locals has become scarce and expensive. Basic services have also disappeared. Schools, grocery stores, and community businesses have closed as permanent residents moved away. The city risks becoming something historians sometimes call a living museum, a place filled with visitors but with fewer and fewer locals actually living there. Environmental challenges add even more pressure. Venice faces constant flooding from rising sea levels and storm surges. The famous Acqua Alta floods regularly inundate streets and historic buildings. Massive engineering projects have been built to protect the city from rising waters, but experts warn that climate change could make the problem worse in the coming decades. Despite these efforts, Venice continues to lose residents every year. The beauty that attracts millions of visitors is slowly transforming the city itself. If this trend continues, Venice may become one of the most famous tourist destinations in the world without a true local population to sustain it. And that is why Venice ranks #1 on our list. Conclusion: beautiful cities often tell two very different stories. One story appears in postcards, travel guides, and social media photos. Sunsets over beaches, skylines glowing at night, historic streets filled with charm. The other story is quieter. It's the rising cost of housing, the residents moving away, the infrastructure struggling to keep up with change. Cities like Honolulu, Austin, New Orleans, San Francisco, and Venice show how beauty and success can sometimes hide deeper challenges. But cities are constantly evolving. Policies change, economies shift, and communities adapt. Some of these places may find new ways to solve their problems. Others may continue to transform in unexpected ways. Which of these cities surprised you the most? And are there other beautiful cities hiding big problems that we didn't mention?